In the quiet, sun-drenched town of Key West, Florida, there's a small, unassuming mausoleum, slowly crumbling under the weight of time and salt air. It doesn't look like much, but it holds the beginning of one of the strangest and most disturbing love stories in American history. It is the tale of a man whose obsession didn't just blur the lines between devotion and madness, it completely erased them. This is the story of Carl Tanzler, the doctor, and his corpse bride. Carl Tanzler was born in Dresden, Germany, in 1877. By all accounts, he was an intelligent, if eccentric, man, deeply fascinated by science, medicine, and the great mysteries of life and death. But his mind wasn't just occupied by science. It was also haunted by visions. Since he was a child, he claimed to be visited in his dreams by the spirit of a beautiful, dark-haired woman, a woman he was convinced was his one true, destined love. After immigrating to the United States, his journey eventually led him to Florida. He settled in Key West and took a job as a radiology technician at the U.S. Marine Hospital. It was here he shed his old identity and adopted a new one, calling himself Count Karl von Kosula, title as grand and fantastical as the life he imagined for himself. And it was there, in April of 1930, that his imagined world collided with reality. Fate, or perhaps something much darker, brought him face to face with the woman from his dreams. Her name was Elena Milagro de Hoyos. She was a 21-year-old Cuban-American woman, breathtakingly beautiful, but tragically ill. She was suffering from tuberculosis, a devastating disease with no cure at the time. The moment Carl laid eyes on her, his lifelong obsession clicked into place. He was utterly convinced that Elena was the woman from his visions, the soulmate he had been waiting for his entire life. He saw it as his cosmic duty to save her. He immediately promised Elena and her distraught family that he would do everything in his power to cure her. He went far beyond the hospital's standard treatments, bringing X-ray machines and other strange medical equipment to her home. He mixed experimental tonics and elixirs, and used bizarre electrical devices he claimed could heal her diseased lungs. He poured all of his knowledge, his money, and his very being into this desperate, one-man war against death. But it was a war he was destined to lose. Despite his frantic efforts, Elena's health continued to decline. She passed away in October of 1931, leaving Tanzler utterly shattered. His devotion, however, did not die with her. Tanzler insisted on paying for her funeral. He then persuaded her family to let him build a private, expensive mausoleum for her in the Key West Cemetery. It was a small, white tomb, sealed with a heavy lock. He kept the only key. This became his sanctuary, his private temple. Every single night, for 2 long years, he would visit her grave. He'd sit alone in the darkness, bringing flowers, playing her favorite music on a portable phonograph, and whispering confessions of his undying love to her silent tomb. Locals began to notice. Neighbors reported seeing a faint, flickering lantern moving through the cemetery late at night. Some even claimed they could hear the faint sound of a man singing softly to the dead. But for a man like Carl Tanzler, obsession, once it takes root, only grows deeper and darker. In April of 1933, 2 years after her death, he did the unthinkable. Under the cover of a moonless night, he went to the cemetery, unlocked the mausoleum, and broke open Elena's tomb. He lifted her decomposing body from its coffin, placed it in a child's toy wagon he had brought with him, and wheeled her home. His mission was no longer to mourn her, but to resurrect her. Back in his small house, he began what he called her restoration. Using his strange mix of medical knowledge and delusion, he set about preserving her remains. He meticulously reattached her decaying flesh with piano wire and hooks. He treated her skin with a bizarre cocktail of chemicals, wax, and plaster of Paris. To maintain its form, he filled her empty torso with rags to keep its shape. He replaced her decayed eyes with glass ones, giving her an eerie, lifelike stare. He fashioned a wig for her from her own hair, which he had saved. He covered her face with silk cloth and constantly doused her body, the bed, and the entire room with perfumes, disinfectants, and floral oils to mask the inescapable odor of decay. He spoke to her. He danced with her. He bought her clothes and jewelry. To him, Elena was not a corpse. She was his wife, his sleeping beauty, just waiting for his love to finally bring her back to life. For 7 years, this grotesque, secret life continued. Carl Tanzler lived in a self-contained world of pure fantasy, completely devoted to a body that could never love him back. But secrets this dark can't stay hidden forever. In 1940, rumors started to swirl through the tight-knit community of Key West. People whispered about the strange count who was seen through his window at night, dancing with what looked like a life-size doll. Elena's sister, Florenda, heard these rumors and grew deeply suspicious. She hadn't trusted Tanzler for years. Finally, she went to his home and confronted him. When he refused to let her in, she went to the authorities. When the police forced their way into Tanzler's home, they were met with a scene that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. There, lying on the bed as if she were merely sleeping, were the preserved remains of Elena de Hoyos. She was dressed in a white wedding gown, surrounded by candles, flowers, and love letters. Their room wasn't just a bedroom. It was a shrine, twisted, macabre temple of devotion. Carl Tanzler was immediately arrested and charged with wantonly and maliciously destroying a grave and removing a body without authorization. The story exploded across the nation. Newspapers ran sensational headlines, calling him the mad lover of Key West. The public was horrified, but also morbidly fascinated. Crowds gathered outside the courthouse, desperate to catch a glimpse of the man at the center of this unbelievable tale. But in a bizarre legal twist, the case was ultimately dropped. The statute of limitations for his crime had expired years ago. Carl Tanzler, the man who had stolen a corpse and lived with it for 7 years, walked free. Elena's body was taken to a local funeral home for examination. The public's curiosity was so intense that authorities put her remains on public display. Over 6,000 people, more than the entire population of Key West, at the time filed past to see the corpse bride for themselves. After the spectacle was over, she was finally laid to rest. But this time in a secret, unmarked grave, to ensure that Tanzler could never find her again. Carl moved away, but he never expressed a single ounce of remorse. In his mind, he had done nothing wrong. He had only tried to keep his love alive. He spent his final years building a life-sized effigy of Elena, using a death mask taken from her face before her rebuke. He lived with this new version of his beloved until his own death in 1952. He was found 3 weeks after he died, lying on the floor, his arms wrapped around the doll. Some say he died happy, finally reunited with the woman he had loved beyond all reason, and beyond death itself. The story of Carl Tanzler remains one of history's most haunting examples of love, twisted into something unrecognizable by obsession. Was he a romantic so lost in delusion that he couldn't accept reality? A madman driven by a sickness of the mind? Or simply a man who refused to let go? Perhaps he was all three. And even today, some locals in Key West will tell you that on a quiet night, if you listen closely as the wind moves through the old cemetery, you might just hear the faint, ghostly strains of a music box, and the echo of a man's voice, softly calling the name, Elena. Thank you so much for watching. If this story fascinated you, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more strange tales from history. We'll see you next time.